like it.
Say it
you
again.
Want to move? I said I got a house that's coming, a house across the street from me. Nice area, quiet area, rural area, outside of a small city, but outside, just right outside of a big city.
You know what? I greatly appreciate it, but you know what? I truly believe God put me here for a reason at this time.
Oh, I know. I've told you that. I told my family.
Okay, we had a little audio trouble, and that's me, because I'm running it today, and obviously I probably should have had Brian on it. But I'm going to restart this for you, okay?
And I'm telling you, have to think about the timing of all of this. Seeing this on Facebook, we are streaming live to YouTube as well. So I encourage you to go to YouTube if you want a different viewing experience. You know what? We have to realize the timing of all of this. I don't think a lot of people are paying attention. It's the timing of all of this. I mean, I truly believe that the left is truly trying to do everything they can to destroy this country. And if they can do it with California, because the majority of the Democrats run California. And if they can start by doing it in California, they're going to start by doing it in California. And then they're going to move on to the other states. And if you believe that California is screwed alone, you are sadly mistaken. Because what's going to happen here is that the borders are going to be wide open. And soon as the rest of the world find out that California is now a sanctuary state, it's going to be flooded here. Jerry Brown, the governor of California, has jeopardized. He just put all of our lives here in not just here in California. As soon as the rest of the world, he has just put all of our lives now at risk. State. There's already been multiple times when people have been harmed by people that has jeopardized. He just put all of our lives here in not just here in California. As soon as the rest of the world that are legally here. And they commit these crimes because they're under the radar. There's no way for us to track them. There's no way for us to find out where they are, who they are. Because they're under the radar. They don't even have illegal documents. Nothing. Don't even know their name. They can make up a name. This is where we are. And I'm telling you, you have to think about the timing of all of this. And I'm going to drill that in tonight. It's the timing. Why now? Why now? Right before November 4th. Right after Vegas. Why now? The timing of all of this. I truly believe that they are trying to mobilize and trying to help this shadow government that the liberal left has created. They need a military. They want the total chaos across this country come November 4th. And they've already started it. There's a video out there right now. If you go to Google and type in November 4th, it begins, LA traffic stop or LA traffic jam. You will see that they were standing on the freeway causing major traffic problems in LA. And LA is such a busy city that can cause a lot of damage. They've already started it. They tested it out. So let me tell you this. Imagine if they do this across the entire city in different places throughout the city in LA. Just imagine how much harm that will do. If they go out on November 4th into the busiest freeways and cause traffic problems where they're disrupting first responders from getting places, imagine what this is going to do. Hello, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Traffic problem.
Turn your computer down, please.
Okay.
How you doing, Joy?
I'm doing fine. Is this Will?
This is Will. We're in deep cow dung right now. We're in serious trouble, and it's not just California. This is the United States that he just put at risk.
Who did?
Jerry Brown, making California. He just signed it today, making California state.
Well, basically, what California is now to the United States is a big, wide, open door.
It is. That's exactly what it is. He just put all of our lives at risk.
Well, I got a house that's coming up for sale right across the street from me. Beautiful area. Lot of amenities. You'd like it.
Say it again.
Want to move? I said I got a house that's coming. A house across the street from me. Nice area. Quiet area. Rural area. Outside of a small city, but just right outside of a big city.
You know what? I greatly appreciate it, but you know what? I truly believe God put me here for a reason at this time.
Oh, I know. I told you that. I told my family member that I thought He put you there as a missionary.
I think He put me here for a reason in Liberalville, California, and this is terrible. I mean, this is not going to only affect California, though. This is going to affect the rest of the country.
I know.
And then a lot of people saying, well, we need to put a wall on California. Well, then you just allowed them to win, because at that point you've helped them divide the United States of America. Once we start with one state, they're going to go to another state, New York. Then they're going to go to another state, St. Louis.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I've been trying to tell people. One of the things, and I don't remember exactly which amendment it is, but I don't know if it's the 10th Amendment, maybe the 15th. It's about the Convention of States. And when a certain number of states come together, I think it has to be 32, 34, those states can actually halt everything that's going on in the federal government.
They are absolutely working on that. I've had conversations with people where they're trying to work on that right now, and people don't even realize it. It's the timing of all of this, the timing of everything that is taking place right now, not just in California, but the world. We are headed for some crazy times. These people are lawless. They're completely lawless.
It's the weirdest thing. I'm not going to tell you what I asked my husband to about Saturday night, because it would give away something that we have in our household. But I asked him, I said, how much does this cost to go with that? And he's like, not much. I said, well, how come you don't get a couple more of them and let's, fix them up ready to go in case we need to do this? And he was like, well, I don't know. I just hadn't done it. And it was basically, I'll just tell you, it was clips. And I go to bed that night, and for some reason, out of my normal routine, I go to sleep a little early, and I wind up sleeping like 5 hours, which is a miracle for me. And I wake up the next morning, and all horror. And I'm thinking that normally I'd have been awake when this happened. I would have been seeing it on TV. Nope. And I was like, man, it's just like there's no peace, there's no rest, there's always something happening somewhere. But this stuff that's going on, I'm going to say this. I know there's a lot of theories and a lot of conspiracy and a lot of ideas, or whatever you want to call them, about what went on in Las Vegas. But I don't care if it was one man or 50 men or women, whoever. I don't care if there was one individual or 50 individuals or a corporation of individuals that did what happened.
Right.
The problem is man's heart.
Yep. It's the whole point that it happened.
Yeah, evil is trying to rule, and I have been saying this and saying this. My family thought I was losing my mind. They thought I was going senile. I said, I can see evil ramping.
Now, I want to stop that right there, because a lot of people are going to take this as like, evil as in Satan or somebody like that. No, I mean, you get negative energy. If you're like me, you feel it's like negative energy coming out, and the people who have this negative force around them want to control everything we do. If you're a Christian, call it Satan. I really don't care, but this evil underground kind of force that is trying to manipulate us and control us, and it's usually done by people who are extremely wealthy, because you feel like that they somehow earned the right, because of their wealth, to take us and manipulate us and make us underneath them somehow, and that they know better, and they should control, and they should do all this other stuff, and they're drinking the same water you and I are, which is loaded with fluoride. So I'm just going to say, hey, smarter than you and I are. They're not. Brian, what's your take on that, brother?
Well, everybody's got the right to their own opinion, and people are going to take things a certain way. They're going to take, like you say, some people can talk about, the demon underground, or they can sit there and talk about the Lord in a certain way. Everybody's going to have their butt ass opinion about what they think about religion, wherever it's not real. If it is real, it's all scientific. Everything was done, by a single organism blowing up into the earth. It's. Right. Honestly, I think it's what you believe in your heart,
right,
and how you feel about it. Like me, I'm a God-fearing man. I believe in the Lord, and I believe in the devil, and I believe that if you do good things for people, and you truly love, and you're honest, and you don't mislead people, and you do what you can for others, you'll go to heaven. That's my point on it.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from being a Christian. Obviously, that's not what I do. I'm just trying to include the rest of the people that, because we have a lot of veterans that are out there that are like me, and I don't want them to get turned off by the message simply because he's talking about Christ and, God, because honestly, they're all, I mean, if you look at Christ, he was a wonderful human being. He was a gentle soul, and so there's nothing wrong with looking at that and utilizing it in whatever way you see fit. And what I mean by that is if you are a God-fearing man like you are, Brian, and you think it's the devil, that's the undercurrent for you. I'm just saying I want to include my pagan men and women out there in uniform and tell them, or not in uniform, that have gotten out, and tell them that you don't have to look at that. Don't take that little piece of it and then totally reject everything he's trying to say. Just because we're pagan doesn't mean there's not validity to what the man is talking about. There's an evil force in everything. And yes, everybody has their absolute right to. This is the United States of America. Come together, people, unite. It doesn't matter about your religious background, your political background. We're talking about the Constitution and the right to do what we feel is right for our families and our friends. And I don't know, what's your take on that, Brian? What do you think?
Well, I'm the same way. I'm a constitutionalist, and the Constitution was written for a certain reason. Our ancestors way back in the when was underneath a democracy. Whenever you had a dictatorship that told you what you could and couldn't do, and you were going to live and abide by a certain way, and if you didn't do it, then your ass got in trouble. Here you have this freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, just like you should, to protect your own family,
right?
To pray and to do as you want to, and it's
as long as you're not hurting anybody else, right? As long as you're not harming anybody else. That's my opinion.
or destroying shit that we've spent our hard time and money to build on for everybody else to enjoy and prosper from.
Right, right, absolutely. All right, let's hear a little bit more about Will has to say. And like I said, he's called. He's on YouTube, and it's Unite America First. If y'all want to ever listen to him, I really like him. I heard him speak on a couple of different shows, and then I went and found him on his own YouTube, and I like what he has to say. I like who he is as a human being.
It is
ramping up.
It is
every day.
It is.
And they were like, why do you say these things? I said, do you realize when we lived here, this wasn't happening? Then when we moved from there and we moved out here, I said, now where we were living, I won't even go there. And now where we are living, we're thinking about getting out of here. Not that it's bad. I mean, it's just nice.
Well, sadly, Joy, I'm going to go ahead and let you go so I can take some more callers too. But sadly, there's going to be nowhere to run. There's going to be nowhere to hide. That's why I've been constantly telling people they need to get ready. I mean, you have to get ready. And whatever it is that you were talking about, if you're asking why you need to get some, you might need to get some. Have some, and don't.
Weird
You need to have some, and just be like, well, we never needed these. Then instead of getting to the point, well, we should have got some. Okay, so hey, I want to thank you for calling in.
All right, thanks, Will.
Thank you. God bless. So I've been saying that you've got to get ready. You got to create your grab bag. These people are completely lawless. That's what's happening right now in this country. We're seeing it firsthand. Every last one of us. It's those of us who really care that don't want this to continue. I mean, that's part of the reason why I come on here as much as I can. Because I don't want this craziness to happen. I don't want it to happen. I love this country too much. And then we're just these and it is straight up the liberal left that is literally trying to destroy this country. Jerry Brown just made it to the point to where if an illegal gets pulled over and he just committed a hideous crime, he just took someone's life, they can't give him the ice. Do you hear me? Turn your computer down, caller, please. They can't give him. They can't give them to ICE. They cannot give him the ice.
All right.
That's the whole point. They cannot give him the ice by doing that. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Chris. I'm calling from Colorado. It's good to talk to you, Will. I've been watching you for a little while.
What's going on, Chris?
Hey, I'm looking at all this craziness, and I see the divisiveness. I see exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to tear us apart.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you know what? I truly believe that what happened in Vegas, I think the Democrats are going to completely try to utilize that to the best of their ability to try to confiscate guns, to try to make sure that we can't protect ourselves from the real tyranny that is about to come to this country. And I know we have Donald J. Trump as our president, but he can't do everything. He doesn't know everything. He doesn't know everything that they're doing. For Jerry Brown to do this, you know what? If somebody please reach out to Donald J. Trump and say, put the National Guard on the southern border of California right now. Seriously.
And I agree with you. What's coming is a much bigger show than what we've already seen. What we've seen is a preview, and what's coming is that what ultimately the powers that be want is for us to be disarmed so that we don't have the ability to defend ourselves. There is a reason why America has never been invaded, because there is a gun behind every blade of grass. And what they want to do is take that away.
Yes, exactly. And then once the people are unable to protect themselves, they can bring in the military that they want to bring in to just get rid of the rest of us. Because when Obama was...
So, let's talk about that, because that's an interesting point. To disarm us is to leave us vulnerable. And we've always known that. We've always known one of the parts about our country that has kept us from being invaded by other countries. Even in World War II, they didn't invade us. They bombed Pearl Harbor and went away. But they certainly didn't try to come in the mainland. Nobody tried to fight with us on that level. So there you go. There's something that I truly believe in. To disarm our country is to leave us vulnerable. And I'll be goddamned if I'm disarmed and vulnerable. And I know Brian feels like that, you know.
Damn straight. And that's the whole point of them trying to disarm us, because if you get to that point to where you do disarm us, who's to say they're not going to come in mainland?
So, people, what I'm saying to you is, if you want to buy a weapon, I'm not telling you to go out and buy one, but if you want to go out and buy a weapon legally in the United States, please do so now, before you don't have the right to do that anymore. Okay? Before they try to take that away from us, too.
Go buy one.
It's like, go buy one, bitches. But, you know, if that's something you feel in your heart that you want to do, then go do it. Because I don't know how much longer, you know, we're going to have the right to bear arms with the way they keep trying to destroy us and our liberties. Slowly but surely, they take them away. But what he's trying to say to you guys is, come together, be a unit. Be together on this. Tell people you're tired of this shit. Tell your leadership, and who I'm talking about is your senators, your governors, everybody. You're tired of this shit. This isn't going to happen anymore. By the way, the governor is the only one that can call in the National Guard, so I don't know if he knows that or not, but that's just the truth of the matter. He's going to have to put real boots on the ground, and that'd be active army. If he wants to do something like that. And then because of that, then he can, if they're taking government money, that's the only way that the president can call the National Guard, because usually that is run by the National Guard is run by the governor, so that's run by the state itself. But what I'd like to talk to you a little bit about is getting yourself together and making yourself squared away when it comes to getting weapons and stuff like that, and getting yourself prepared for anything that can happen, because I'm not really sure what's going down right now, okay? I don't know how things are going to happen, but everybody keeps fucking talking about this 4th, November 4th, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but anyway, let's play a little bit more, okay? Brian, you got anything to add, brother?
Load them up, lock them up, let them roll.
All right, here we go. Let's talk a little some more.
Was in office, it's already a known fact that he thinned out the U.S. military. And they want to, and before Trump can build up the military again, that's the timing of all of this. I'm telling you, it's the timing of all of this. They want to try, because Trump is big on supporting the military. He's big on it. And if they bring policies and they put stuff into place to make the military attractive again, people will join willingly. And then we will build up the military. But they don't want that, because if they have the strong military, then it will be in the way.
That's exactly it. And see, what they want, they do want a military state, but they don't want our military to be the one in charge of the military state.
You're absolutely right.
Because our military is not going to stand against our own grandmas and grandpas.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They're not going to shoot American citizens. They'll be like, I can't do it. And they're saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then what end up happening, they'll end up fighting against them for making them try to do it. I mean, it'd be total chaos. So they want to bring in the blue helmets. I'm telling you, that's what they want to bring in. They want to bring in these blue helmets.
That's exactly what it is.
With 2 letters on the side of them. I'm telling you, that's exactly what they want to do. And people don't realize it. You've got to wake up.
That's exactly what they want to do, brother. That's exactly what they want to do. And you can see it with all of their movements. Like, all you have to do is just watch a little bit. Just pay attention to what happens and what follows after that. And you can see that that's exactly what they want to do. They want to globalize us. Because we are the only nation on the freaking earth that has not been invaded and taken over.
True.
Love you.
True. Absolutely.
We stand alone.
Absolutely.
We stand alone.
Absolutely. And we're a stumbling block for them going ahead and implementing the total one world order. I mean, I know that. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's right there. We've got to stand up. This is the time we've got to unite. We don't want the craziness. We don't want all this fighting. We don't want all this killing. We don't want any of it. But they are so desperate. They're so angry with Donald J. Trump and the direction, in the positive direction he's taking his country, they cannot take it any longer.
Now, doesn't that fascinate you? I mean, we got a president who gives a shit about our country, but these people hate him so much. I mean, what the hell? They hate him so much.
Because he's doing the right damn thing.
I know, but sometimes I feel like Trump takes some really bad advice at times, like with the new health bill that he put out. If you look at that, I'm like, bleh. I'm actually glad it didn't go through, but he's doing a lot of other very positive things to help us be competitive with the rest of the world, and that's what was happening. We had a stranglehold, a financial stranglehold, and we couldn't get ahead, and we kept going and going and going in the toilet more and more and more, and it was doing nothing but hurting our country. So let me get back to him, and then I'm going to skip probably a little bit because there's a part I want y'all to hear.
That's why you have these groups like Antifa, BLM, BAM, by any means necessary, to do anything possible, to do whatever they have to destroy this country.
Because Donald Trump cannot be bought. He can't be bought. And he actually loves America.
Exactly.
He may say some ignorant shit. He may tweet some stuff and seriously stay off of Twitter, Donald. But no,
we have to stay. We have to stay on the Twitter. Just if you don't mind, we have a younger crowd with the language. But we have to. I like his Twitter. I mean, he puts stuff out there, and he's not the only one on his Twitter. He has people that's putting tweets out for him too. They've already made that known.
I understand that. I do. I mean, but he does say some things that, all right, bud, just kind of pump the brakes on that a little bit. But for the most part, I like him because he cannot be bought.
Exactly.
He cannot be bought.
Exactly.
And what he wants to do is he wants to drain the swamp. He wants to get rid of the ones that are bought and paid for, and actually get people in there that give a damn.
Exactly. So that's actually we put there's a post on my wall where we're trying to reach out to people that's running for office in 2018 because we got to vote them out. 2018. We've got to. So I encourage anyone, please.
Hold on, we're going to skip over some stuff here.
Possible. And it's not like that. We do. Hey, I want to thank you for calling in.
All right, thanks.
All right, take care. Okay, I said this in the beginning. We have the timing of all of this is was happening here. The timing of all of this. I want to say one thing. I talked to a gentleman. His name is John. He's out of Sacramento, and he had, I believe he said it was his uncle that passed away in Vegas. And he asked, would I share his information about his uncle passing away, and they're doing a GoFundMe to try to help with some of the stuff for, I believe, for his burial. And after this broadcast, I will share his link if anyone finds it in their heart to help him out to help their family get through this. I mean, by all means, please do. I will be sharing that after this broadcast. There's another
jobs guy.
Children as much as possible, and that's the very reason why we have Antifa today, because they've indoctrinated these children to go out and be violent and to believe that America is bad. And it's happening across the country.
Now, I want to touch on this a little bit because it's a big deal to me. They tried to do this to my kids too, but I'm a strong woman, and I believe in taking care of mine and learning what they learn. So that was a big thing in schools today. Is they learn to hate the government. They learn to hate America and what it stands for. They're teaching them that shit in high school, guys. They're teaching them that, because America was started with some ugly roots. We have some ugly roots. We have slavery in our history. We almost destroyed Native Americans. We've done some pretty hellacious things. What else did we do, Brian? We put every Japanese person in camps until World War II was over. I mean, we've done some shitty stuff to our own people. But I like to think that our country has evolved from that, and that our values and what we honestly stand for have come past that, have stood up to the test of time. We're a people that, yeah, we had some struggles. It's always hard when you get a bunch of different personalities in a room. Right, Brian? I mean, it's like the same shit in the Army. You get a bunch of fuckers in that room, and everybody's going to have a different opinion on it, and we're all going to fuss and fight at each other. Is that not correct?
Yep, it sure is.
Okay, but in the end, when it's time to get busy and do our mission, what do? We link arms and we make it happen, correct?
That's right. That's just like all of us going to the damn bar. We may end up into a damn fist fight, but be down to somebody in another group, or another crowd, or another country attacks one of us because we put our differences aside and unite as a team, as a family, take care of what we need to take care of.
That's the way it should be for the United States. Let's put our differences aside. Let's make sure we understand what we're really trying to achieve here. Yeah, we got an ugly past. So does most other fucking countries. Have you ever looked at Crusades? That was brutal. I mean,
every country's got a fucked up past.
Goddamn straight it is. I mean, if you want to look at England's past, they got more atrocities they've committed in their existence than most other countries put together. The shit that they did, So let's not be stupid and think everybody else rises above us. We are the ones that. The reason that why they want to control the United States so bad is because everybody looks to us for their moral ground. And that's why they want to tell you how fucking bad we are. That's why they want to tell you all this other bullshit. It's all bullshit, people. Don't listen to all that negativity. Now, I got something I want to play for you. It's called Antifa Plan, November 4th, Day of a Revolution. So let's look at what they have to say, okay? Well, this is the first one is Antifa versus the United States, November 4th. This one's from InfoWars.
Antifa plans civil war to overthrow government.
I have, on the border between just a regular rifle and an assault weapon and a sawed-off style shotgun. It's a fan.
Yeah, like last ditch here.
Blue Subaru with a dent on the side, on the driver's side. That's mine.
You go down to like that military surplus store, the Navy surplus store, whatever. You can get like a K-bar for like $30-$40, and it's just a combat knife. It's fixed blade, 5 inches or so, but it's just you strap it on your leg and you're good to go. I mean, this one's like tiny, so you have to really stab them.
It's a fan.
Yeah, and like last ditch is going to be
Blue Subaru.
Durham down here.
And remember, a month ago, we had Mr. Hagman on, Doug Hagman, and he said, we're doing what Veritas has done. We have embedded off-duty and retired police officers and private detectives going to these meetings across the country, and they're handing out AK-47s, shanks. They're planning their attacks on public officials, police, and they're planning the attack coming up the next few months. Well, now we know the date. It's November 4th.
But what's most disturbing here, in addition to, of course, the funding that goes back to Alliance for Global Justice in one case, and, of course, all of the normal groups, the Soros-connected groups, we're seeing some funding that's a degree or two separation away from the Organizing for Action, Obama's group. And I say that with some reservation, but when you start to unwind the money trail here, and that's what we do is follow the money, we can see where the Organizing for Action is part of this, as well as in one case, one of the very well-known opposition research groups that provided the DNC and the Democrats information about Donald Trump and specifically Donald Trump, is actually sharing some office space with a local Refuse Fascism chapter.
And I want to make something perfectly clear, crystal clear, that we are not dealing with anti-fascists. All right? We are dealing with neoliberal fascists. They are neoliberal fascists. Stop accepting the narrative of these neoliberal fascists. The Soros, Obama, Clinton machine, plus the deep state. What are they about? They are ahistorical, non-critically thinking lunatics controlled by the Soros, Obama, Clinton machine and the deep state. And what is their objective? Their objective is to revise history in their own image and ultimately to destroy our nation. I say no to that.
They mean business, and they're being funded by George Soros and others. And they think when a bunch of cops get shot in the back of the head or talk show hosts get attacked or more congressmen get shot, that we're going to roll over to them and follow their political correctness and their globalism and gut the country. You people got another thing coming.
They estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people.
See, we're winning politically. We're winning intellectually. And they want to overturn that. And they're hopping mad that the economy now is at 3.1, something they say can never happen again. And it's online at current growth rates, be a 3.5 by the end of the year. They don't know what to do. And Trump gets these tax cuts through, the economy is going to roar. And what are they afraid of? They're afraid of the cornucopia of the free market. And they're afraid of that, and they're desperate to break this country's will now.
I love what Alex Jones
mainstream media is dying.
Yeah.
Democratic Party's dying. The Republican establishment's dying. Anti-establishment candidates are winning across the board. In every special election, Democrats are being defeated, and establishment Republicans are being routed by patriots. And suddenly, the numbers are coming in from black groups, Hispanic groups, and others. They're shifting to conservative or libertarian in massive numbers as the awakening accelerates. The globalists push too hard. So, what's going to happen? They're going to go to the violence card, and they're going to go to the false flag card. This is it. Get ready. Let's go to Debit in Florida. Debit in Florida, you're on the air.
Great. Hey, thank you so much. Listen, I have bought your product, and I gotta say they're amazing. Anyone who's on the fence, buy it, because I've had Caveman, Superman Vitality, Secret.
Okay, he goes on to sell his products at that point, but I mean, honestly, I've looked at his products; they're pretty damn good. So if you're into that kind of thing, that supports their network, because they've like the commercials for their show and stuff like that have been taken away, and all those other things have been happening. But that's what's going down, people. That's what's happening. They're trying to get rid of us people, and I think it's pretty interesting. Wow, you have to stab them really hard. No shit. If your knife ain't that big, you have to stab them pretty hard. What the hell? Trying to talk about how how to kill people or hurt them really bad so they can't fight back. What the hell? And this kind of shit is going on, and our news stations are not reporting that, which really pisses me off. But, you know, sorry, my bad. I get a little up there with, like, why do we allow CNN, NBC, and all these other people? I don't even think Fox has reported it. Nobody took it. Nobody took that, and it just blows me away. But anyway, back on track. So let's talk this is somebody else. Antifa plans civil war to overthrow the government on November 4th. Blows me away. But
Antifa is planning a new round of nationwide riots on November 4th as part of a plot to start a civil war that will lead to the overthrow of the Trump administration. Far-left militants plan to gather in the streets in public squares of cities and towns across the country in the hope of building momentum for civil unrest that leads to nothing less than domestic regime change. Quote, "Our protests must grow day after day and night after night. Thousands become hundreds of thousands and then millions, determined to act to put a stop to the grave danger that the Trump-Pence regime poses to the world by demanding that this whole regime be removed from power," states a call to action on the Refuse Fascism website. A longer posting on the Revolutionary Communist website makes it very clear that Antifa is not prepared to wait for electoral change from Democrats and will engage in a ferocious struggle based on plans outlined in a book written by Bob Backlund, the chairman of the Revolutionary Communist Party, which is called The Coming Civil War. Vowing to stop the unrelenting terror of the Trump administration, the group asserts that the stakes are nothing less than the future of humanity in the planet itself. Typical.
No, what fucking terror? What terror has he done? What has he done? Protect our country, protect our rights. You know, what has he done, Brian?
Trump's done everything he's supposed to be doing. Redoing the immigration laws so that way, you know, if you want to become a part of this country and have a green card, you got to have a higher education. You have to speak English, and you got to bring something to the workforce so that way the economy can grow. There's been multiple factories and companies come back over. I think it's Wisconsin that's been the biggest so far that will be bringing $10 billion a year back into the company for making iPhones.
Right?
The stock market has went up $4 trillion. I hear people all the time, he ain't doing shit for us. No, Hey, you have to start somewhere. And to make the country better, he's having to rebuild its financial status.
Yep.
So that way he can continue doing certain things. And so what if he took the fucking money from the cartel that we have been holding for years and years and years to build this wall? It needs to be done. You know.
That's what he said. He said, I'm going to make Mexico pay for it. Didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Mexico's paying for it, bitches.
That's right. The drug and it's not the Mexican government that paid for it. It was the cartels. It was the people that was bringing drugs and stuff into this country. The drug money that was caught and seized that has been sitting there for years and years and years.
Yep.
Then nobody was doing a damn thing about it. Yep, Mexico sure did pay for it. It wasn't their government. It was the crooked side of their country. You know,
well, if you take a look at it, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
And if you take a look at it, Mexico's government is run by the cartel. So in a sense, their government did pay for it. Because the people who run most of Mexico's been so dirty for so long, it's disgusting. You know, and they're so in bed with their criminal element over there. And some of ours is too. But they're so in bed with their criminal element that you know, I mean, that's how their people get wealthy, is they help the cartel. The cartel, one hand washes another, right? So.
That's right.
All right, let's go down with a little bit more of Antifa exposed.
Hysterical rhetoric, which when combined with Antifa's violent tactics, should be a deep cause for concern for law enforcement bodies. Now, earlier this week, far-left activists blocked the 101 freeway in downtown Los Angeles before holding up place cards that read, November 4th, it begins.
Downtown LA. This is happening right now in the highway of downtown LA. Rent this video, share it everywhere.
Now, whether the planned actions fizzle after some on the mainstream left who previously embraced Antifa were forced to back away remains to be seen. However, the activity of the group should cause even more alarm given the revelations of an undercover video by Steven Crowder and his team in which Antifa members are seen planning violent attacks, handing out sharp objects with which to stab conservatives, and even discussing the procurement of AK-47s.
The idea is just plain clothes and hard tactics, and I don't think they'll know what hit them because they're not prepared for what we're planning.
Oh, I'm prepared.
How much of we got 2 AKs coming.
Now, Antifa's open vow to overthrow the government, combined with their violent tactics, are sure to raise the alarm among federal authorities responsible for tracking domestic terrorism. Earlier this month, it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security has formally begun to classify Antifa's activity as domestic terrorist violence, while the New Jersey DHS lists the group on its own website under the designation of domestic terrorism. Now, all the links to some of the things that I mentioned in this video are under this video in the description. One thing we really need to do is to expose this for what it is, whether it takes place or not. So, like this video, share this video, get the word out. What do you think, guys?
Okay, so that's the Antifa planned civil war to overthrow the government on November 4th. And the video that they actually showed was a bunch of people out in the middle of one of the major arteries of LA holding up signs that said, on November 4th it begins. What begins? What are you going to try to do? What are you going to do to me? That's what my son used to say when he got in trouble. He's like, what are you going to do to me? But I mean, that's the ridiculousness of these folks. That's how ridiculous they are. That somehow you think you're going to walk into my house? Okay, give it a shot. I dare you. I mean, Brian, what do you think?
I'm gonna shoot a motherfucker.
I will too. I will too. But the point is that if all of us together we stop them. We have to stop their stupidity. We have to get together as a country and say, okay, all of our bullshit aside, all of our fucking bullshit aside, whatever background we come from, whatever religion we have, the Constitution is what we stand for, and fuck the rest of it. And we're going to stand here, and we're going to make sure that our country survives and thrives after all this stupid shit. So I'll be really surprised to see what happens on November 4th. If they actually get a chance to do what they do. I certainly think that they're doing it in freaking California because, fuck, you're not allowed to own weapons in California. I mean, think about it. It's really hard to get weapons in California. And they did that on purpose. You know, it's a slow freaking takeover. Hey. You know, come on now. Let's take a break. Anyway, come on and let's talk about the rest of it, you guys. Somebody get online with us and talk to us about what's going on. What else we got? We got a little message from our sponsor. Sorry, I got sidebarred. Hey, Brian, you're supposed to chime in when I get sidebar.
I got your sponsors. Here you go. Sorry, it's buffering.
Welcome to the Dangerous Grounds Network. Hey guys and gals, why don't you take your dick beaters off the video games in your phone and listen to the Dangerous Grounds Network? We play whatever you want over here, baby. This is the Dangerous Grounds Network. Let's get dangerous.
You don't have to be lonely at veterans.only.com.
This is Sam from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network.
Branded Warriors, Inc., the original tattoo therapy program in America. Big Country and his band of warriors will take care of all America's heroes, with one drop of ink at a time. Go to bwitattoos.org to fill out your application and send it to bwitattoos@yahoo.com. Then the power of the ink and BWI will heal your mind.
Black Rose Tattoo Shop. Veteran Rand and Branded Warriors preferred tattoo shop. BlackRoseTattoo.com. All your tattoo needs.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. Hey, you want a freedom boner or what? Listen now.
What's up? This is AJ from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. And we're going to put a little bit of freedom all up in you.
And just to do a little plug, we got 3 days in a wake up till Operation I Got Your Six. So a lot of chatter coming on, a lot of people coming out. And if you miss it, you're just a fucking dumbass because this is a hell of a show. Just saying.
Right? So what I'm going to move on to is a little bit of, we got the Antifa going on, but we're going to move on to uniting us. What do y'all think we can do to unite us as a country? Brian, what do you got for me?
Well, I mean, it's number one, the positivity, the love, the aspiration to be able to want to help one another and actually show that help. Be honest with each other. Be true to each other. If you're going to tell somebody that you're committed to them and you're wanting to help them, then do it. Don't blow them off, because then that's where they get the thought of, okay, well, this person don't really give a shit. And, the more that we can lend that helping hand, the more, just back in the 1800s when they were actually starting to build cities, and that whole town had to come together and help build that saloon, or build the barbershop, or build the morgue where they built the wooden boxes to put, the people in the barrels. They had to do they had to help, help each other farm their crops and stuff like that. That's when America was actually helping each other, building the railroads, building our roads, building our towns, building up businesses and stuff like that. And as technology has come along, we've had to help each other do that. But, people like the left side liberals and stuff like that, that is coming from, I do believe, the Clinton, the Obama, and shit like that, because they wouldn't call it red, they would call it freaking green. Trump's calling red. And, it's not a white thing, it's not a black thing, it's a red, white, and blue thing. This is our country. Yes, we give everybody the right to pray who they want to pray to, do what they want to, but we don't give you the right to destroy our buildings, our properties, kill people, hurt people, just for the fucking hell of it. That's where we're not uniting. But, just for example, I'll put myself on a pedestal. There's a meme going around about me that's hit over 1,000 tags just because a black woman came up to me and said her son wanted to give me a hug because,
He was sorry that my leg was hurt. You know, that is uniting. That right there is something to look at as an inspiration that a woman, a boy, and a little girl of another race, another color, had the American love in them to stop and want to say, hey, we love you, and we're sorry that your leg is hurt, and thank you for everything that you've done. Everybody knows my leg wasn't lost in battle. My leg was lost on Fort Riley. But you know what? The simple fact of them doing that warmed my heart up for that day. And, you know, you got to be true to each other, and you got to be honest. You know, it's like they used to say, a man's word is a man's bond, and that has been lost. Because you can go up to tell somebody, hey, man, I'll be there to help you out, and they just find some excuse not to be there. You know, it needs to get back to that way. You know, a lot of people may disagree with me when I say this, but yeah, I believe that we should go back to the old days where the principal has the paddle in his office, to where if a child is doing something that's very disruptive, a couple of pops on the butt like I used to get needs to happen. We need to be able to discipline our children and teach them the right ways in public. You know, if I feel like whooping my child in Walmart for taking a piece of candy and putting it in their pocket, then by God, that's what I want to do. You don't have a right to tell me what I can and can't do when it comes to disciplining my children, because right now, that's where we're failing. You know, these liberal people that are trying to destroy the country, their kids are following them. So this is another battle that we're going to have to fight for years to come. But there's a majority of us out here that do believe in prosperity. We do believe in the Constitution. We do believe in the rights and stuff. And we're going to fight for it day on and day out. You know, take our guns. Guess what? The black market sells them. You can take the rights away. We're still going to get our hands on them. And if you want to bring the blue helmets in here, if you dare, I'm sorry, that is just the wrong thing to do. There is a reason why we're the only country that has not been invaded, except for the Revolutionary War, whenever this country came to birth, is because we're a bunch of badasses, and we're going to defend what's ours. We wanted this country because we wanted our freedoms, our rights, to do what we want to do as full-blooded Americans. Right. Everybody else has their rights, their laws, their religions and stuff like that. If we go to freaking Saudi Arabia, you know, we don't have the right to sit there and tell them that what they're doing is wrong. Hell, we'd probably get our heads chopped off if we did that. You know, here we can say that all day long, but doesn't mean that we're going to hurt anybody. You know, plain and simple. It's time to stand up, take up for our country, take up for each other. Right. You know fans left that want to kneel before the national anthem and think because, you know, protest Trump and the administration. I do think there's something should be put in place that, okay, you just lost your pay cut. You just lost your paycheck. We give you the fucking right to throw a pigskin for millions and millions of dollars and throw a pigskin in a basket for millions and millions of dollars. If you don't like it that fucking much, then your Whoopi Goldberg wannabes, your Rosie O'Donnells and all that shit, get the fuck out. There's plenty of other people that would love to have your job at half the cost. Right. And put more money back into the economy. Why don't you take your paycheck for the fucking year and put it to something good instead of buying all these cars, adding to your mansion, adding all these bling bling earrings and necklaces and bracelets to your wardrobe, so whenever you go out and about, people look at you and go, ooh and ah. Fuck off. You're a bunch of fucking hypocritical sons of bitches that don't even deserve the job that you got.
I agree with you, you know. I totally fucking agree with you. But I got a 7-minute video of just a little talking about 18 months of left-wing violence. Here we go. And they say they're non-violent. Okay. rioting at Berkeley. They wouldn't let a right-winger talk, a conservative person talk, so they rioted. I think you guys should actually, I'm not going to do more speaking, but it's more of a video showing you stuff, and it's showing you, it says 18 months of left-wing violence. I highly suggest y'all take a look at that, because I can't sit here through the whole thing and tell you what's up. So, and then we've got Nancy Pelosi, who finally condemns Antifa violence, because I don't know if y'all know what happened to her, but she got surrounded by a bunch of people one day when she was speaking, and it was a bunch of people who were not here legally in this country.
We take it for granted that millions of Koreans and tens of thousands of U.S. troops died, as well as hundreds of thousands of Chinese, in the Korean War that is still on. Armistice signed July 27th, 1953, and 60-plus years later, we sit here on the verge of that ceasefire ending. Now, 2 weeks ago, North Korea said they were going to fire missiles between 10 to 20 miles off the coast of Guam and our Air Force base there. Trump signaled that if he did do that, we would have retaliatory strikes on North Korea. Kim Jong-un blinked and did not carry out the test. Instead, he has started firing multiple missiles overnight, yesterday and today, at Japan, going right over the country and crashing in the ocean. Now, normally he fires them in front of the country, but not over the country, which is absolutely provocation for war. If the United States started firing missiles over the territory of North Korea at a very low trajectory and crashing them into the ocean, or if we started doing that to Russia, or Russia did that to us, imagine if Russia pulled up ships off the coast of Florida and fired a missile over Florida, over the peninsula from the east, from the Atlantic Ocean, and then it plunged into the Gulf of Mexico, say in Tampa, right off the shore. Would that be an act of war? Very serious provocation. And Russia, according to the Russian news, has ordered mass evacuation over North Korea missile launch. The Daily Star is reporting former UK diplomat, world is much less safe due to North Korea threat. Russia's civil defense officials have reportedly ordered to shift residents in the country's far east to safer areas, an extraordinary move amid fears of worldwide conflict. North Korea angered the international community by launching a missile that flew directly over Japan. It's not like they shot it up into space and it came back down. They shot it right over. You know, a missile you could see with the naked eyeball, with a missile trail. That's like in a Western, you know, the guy walks up and starts shooting the gun by your feet saying, come on, pull, draw, do something, boy. North Korea angered the international community by launching the missile that flew directly over Japan and says they're going to fire more. They've been firing others as well the last few days, but not over Japan. Goff, if I'm pronouncing that right, were moved in
I'm
other...
skipping through some of this because that's not...
Now it's Wednesday that all options are on the table to be impressive. As if men don't do that as well. And it's the same thing. See, they hate Melania at drudgereport.com right now. But look, GDP up, jobs up. But you wouldn't even know that in mainstream media whenever... And then we have to get rid of our open society because of them. That's in the WikiLeaks. That is the plan. And then if somebody fights back against these people when they're clubbing them in the head or killing somebody... And one of the Antifa gets killed, they will give them royal honors. like Jesus Christ was hung on the cross again. But again, they're having to distance themselves now ahead of the edicts banning free speech, that, oh, they are against the evil meth head Antifa. Berkeley police arrest 13 protesters in connection to Antifa violence. The spitting, the clubbing, the attacking, the bike locks, the cowardly hordes of women ganging up and stomping and kicking on.
Okay, we've already talked about that, and that's not what he had on here, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little thing from Anonymous, because Anonymous has something to say. It says, U.S. citizens, this is what they don't want you to know. This ought to be interesting, because Anonymous doesn't give a shit about your political background.
Prices helped ExxonMobil boost its profits to nearly $11 billion in the latest quarter.
Shell is the latest oil company to report a big rise in profits thanks to higher oil prices.
The ability of speculators to profit is surely dwarfed by the ability of oil-producing nations to profit from a higher price of oil.
Maybe the easiest way for these guys to make the money, manipulate oil back above $50, even $60.
Oil. From farm to pharmaceutical, diesel truck to dinner plate, pipeline to plastic product, it is impossible to think of an area of our modern-day lives that is not affected by the petrochemical industry.
Correct.
The story of oil is the story of the modern world.
Disgusting.
Parts of that story are well known. Rockefeller and Standard Oil, the internal combustion engine and the transformation of global transport, the House of Saud and the oil wars in the Middle East. Other parts are more obscure. The quest for oil in the outbreak of World War I, the petrochemical interests behind modern medicine, the big oil money behind the Green Revolution and the Gene Revolution. But that story, properly told, begins somewhere unexpected. Not in Pennsylvania with the first commercial drilling operation and the first oil boom, but in the rural backwoods of early 19th century New York State. And it doesn't start with crude oil or its derivatives, but a different product altogether. Snake oil. Dr. Bill Livingston, celebrated cancer specialist, was the very image of the traveling snake oil salesman. He was neither a doctor nor a cancer specialist. His real name was not even Livingston. More to the point, the rock oil tonic he pawned was a useless mixture of laxative and petroleum, and had no effect whatsoever on the cancer of the poor townsfolk he conned into buying it. He lived the life of a vagabond, always on the run from the last group of people he had fooled, engaged in ever more outrageous deceptions to make sure that the past wouldn't catch up with him. He abandoned his first wife and their 6 children to start a bigamous marriage in Canada at the same time as he fathered 2 more children by a 3rd woman. He adopted the name Livingston after he was indicted for raping a girl in Cayuga in 1849. When he wasn't running away from them or disappearing for years at a time, he would teach his children the tricks of his treacherous trade. He once bragged of his parenting technique. I cheat my boys every chance I get. I want to make 'em sharp. A towering man of over 6 feet and with natural good looks that he used to his advantage, he went by Big Bill. Others, less generously, called him Devil Bill. But his real name was William Avery Rockefeller, and it was his son, John D. Rockefeller, who would go on to found the Standard Oil monopoly and become the world's first billionaire. The world we live in today is the world created in Devil Bill's image. It's a world founded on treachery, deceit, and the naivety of a public that has never wised up to the parlor tricks that the Rockefellers and their ilk have been using to shape the world for the past century and a half. This is the story of the oligarchy.
Okay, so it's going to get into a lot of things. It's like an hour-long little deal here, but I'm going to let you know how I feel about the division and people trying to come into my house with no right to be here or to try to hurt somebody who's in my family. This is what I got for you. I know, Brian, what do you think of that?
I see a lot of bodies hitting the floor.
Yeah, I would highly not suggest you walk in here with two, one retired soldier and another that was in for 10 years. I'm just saying, probably not a good idea. Don't be walking in my house without my permission. And if you try and hurt my friends, it's probably going to be the same idea. They're probably going to give me a call, and I'm probably going to go over. Because you know what? If some craziness like that goes down, I bet the cops are going to be really busy that day. I'm just... Don't be trying to start shit with my people. That's not going to bode well for your ass. I can assure you. I can assure you. Look, the whole point is that with all that drama that's going on, that's more and more why we should all band together, even with our different backgrounds and everything that we believe in. We may believe that some of this stuff is different. I happen to be a Trump supporter. Do I like everything he does? No, I don't. I think there needs to be better health care out there. I think he needs to do what he promised a long time ago and open up the borders so that when it comes to health care, so that it'll lower the cost of health care. You know? I did a whole, I don't know if you guys want to check this out or not, sidebar, but I did a whole thing on I wrote a blog about what's going on with our healthcare today and the shit they put in your food and all kinds of stuff like that. So you go ahead. I am kind of a hippie, guys. I mean, you got to know this about me, but I don't believe in like I'm in the middle somewhere. What I mean by that is I'm strictly wanting to go by the Constitution. I don't want to take away your rights to be who you are. Don't take away my rights to be who I am. And that's how I look at it. What do you think, Brad?
She's a badass redheaded hippie. That's fucking dangerous.
Well, I don't know if I'm that dangerous. But hey, you know, I'm gonna give you rest of your damn money.
I got a hunting on it.
But I know that Brian wants to play some music for our veterans, so hey Brian, why don't you go ahead and take the lead on that one, okay?
All right, it's gonna be it's a little lengthy, maybe about 9 minutes, but yeah, one of my intros. But I got a lot of feedback that everybody likes how it's done, and the very ending is I've added my own little twist to it. So
sweet.
Plus it introduces the network, so y'all know how to get to it. There you go.
Welcome to Dangerous Grounds Network at dangerousgrounds.network, the #1 online radio network. Crazy, funny, and badass. The world's music. Host that will blow your mind. No Holds Barred Radio. Sponsored by Madison Rising. Dangerous Grounds Network. Let's get dangerous.
This is Sam from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. Hey, you want a freedom boner or what? Listen now.
What's up? This is AJ from Madison Rising, and you're listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. And if you don't have a freedom boner right now, fuck you.
Welcome to the Dangerous Grounds Network, the #1 radio network in the world. Check us out at www.dangerousgrounds.network. Come join us and let's get dangerous. And if you don't have a freedom boner right now, take a hike.
You're out here acting so tough, and now I'm calling you bluff. Black hoods in the faces. We'll take it out to the streets. That's where we can meet. You bring your sticks, I'll bring gauges. Just don't know what you've been asking for. This means war. It's time to strap our boots on. This is a perfect day to die. Wipe the blood out of our eyes. In this life there's no surrender, and there's nothing left for us to do. Find the strength to see this through. We are the ones who will never be broken. With our final breath, fight to the death. We are soldiers, we are soldiers.
Everybody, this is Chelsea. You might not know me yet, but you will. Keep on listening to Dangerous Grounds Network. Let's get dangerous.
There you go.
That was pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Song by Otherwise. Badass band.
By who?
Otherwise.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So, I think we're gonna get ready to shut down a little early today because I know I got some things going on. But I want y'all to know, man, I'm here for all my brothers and sisters in the military or out of the military, on my veterans. I'm here for everybody, but I'm telling you right now, stand together and take care of each other. I don't care what our differences are. We all learn to come together. And I got one little thing that a U.S. Marshal, he gives a warning about planned November 4th. Go check that out real quick.
Good morning, everyone. I usually don't make posts, especially vlogs like this, but there's been a number of things that have happened over the last 7 days that aren't just disconcerting. They're very indicative of the times that we are currently living in. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see the complete and total breakdown of society, of morality, of morals, of civility, the building blocks of what make this nation great. And here in a year, 365 days, gosh, sorry, get the gray reception out here. 365 days, and we're no longer allowed to walk in public and pray. If you're a Republican, you have to fear getting beaten, destroyed, maimed, killed, because you're a Nazi then. I mean, for God's sakes, on Sunday, somebody needs to turn their frickin' radio off. On Sunday, it was a peaceful march, and it was a march for peace, of which they were simply praying, and this is whites, blacks, everybody together. They walked silently and in peace and were simply praying, and towards the end, Antifa was able to get themselves going, and when they showed up, they started truly an all-out war on innocent people. The videos and the discussions that have came out of there are so disturbing and so disgusting. And yet, I nary hear a word from the liberal media. That leads me into Antifa's next step. On their website, they are calling for an open civil war that they will start here in the United States in November. They are fundraising for weapons, training, ammunition, supplies. They're not hiding this. They're openly fundraising so that they could get the stuff together to attack, and this is verbatim what they're going to do. They will start off by attacking police officers, first responders, anybody that's in uniform. And after they have disrupted that enough in the nation, and us first responders are literally going everywhere trying to resolve things, they will then go after the citizens and the people and the government and all of that. So if you're white, you're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi then to them, and it will be open game on you. I don't know why we're allowing this, but it is time that, honestly, if our leaders and our leadership isn't going to step up and finish this, we have to. Each and every one of us has to. And that is our right. And that is what we must do. Anyway, God bless, guys. I hope you have a great day.
Okay, so that's a dude telling us who is a police officer. He's a U.S. Marshal. Please don't roll like that. Come on now. This is just going to be more. You got to take care of yourself. They are coming after you. And if you're white, you're probably a nice little target. So, I mean, it's crazy. Why are they trying to start this? white-black war in the United States. It's fucking ridiculous. There's a lot of people out there that I know that are black that don't have anything to do with Antifa, don't believe in their values. They have nothing to do with that bullshit. And you know what? We're all going to be caught in the middle of this. People like you and I, the average everyday citizen that is not worried about somebody's skin color, all we're worried about is taking care of each other and taking care of our lives and moving forward. We're all going to get caught in this stupid shit, guys. This is why I say we need to unite. We need to take care of each other. You know, all my brothers and sisters out there, we need to be prepared and take care of each other because this is ridiculous. I can't fathom the stupidity that's out there right now. So, hey, Brian, let me let you get the last word in, and then I'm going out with the Star Spangled Banner today, people, by Madison Rising. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me rant and rave and chatter on here about my thought process, but just let's get together. Let's be united. All right, Brian. Sorry. My bad, homie.
Hey, keep it real. Love each other. Respect each other. Hey, help each other out where it's needed. Don't be fake. If you say you're going to do something, fucking do it. Keep on the positive side of things. And if it does come to this, stand together. Fight with one another. Because what Antifa doesn't realize is this country is full of veterans, and we took an oath, and we still stand by that oath, foreign and domestic. Doesn't matter if you're American or not. You want to come after us, we're locked and loaded. We're ready to go. And I'm a Trump supporter. You can call me a fucking Nazi if you want to. I'm going to pump you up.
All right. So here we go. We got the Star Spangled Banner by Madison Rising, probably one of the best versions of modern versions of the Star Spangled Banner I've ever heard. Here we go.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land to say, stand in the plane, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, just that star, spangled banner, again, wave for the land of the free, and the
Fucking love that one. Love that one. All right. We are out. Bye.
Later.